Welcome to the CAD Builder video tutorial series. In this video, we will review how CAD Builder can automatically calculate the door and drawer front sizes from a given cabinet. By inputting the specifications needed, the software will then make the appropriate calculations. The typical behavior is set within the associated construction method, so we will explore this in depth in this video. First, let's take a look at it within the context of the framed cabinets. The front size calculations are found under the Door Overlay section. The first setting, Overlay Type, sets the general approach, and the Reveal Settings subsection defines the details. If you overlay the fronts by the same amount in all four directions of every opening, then pick Standard Overlay and set its overlay in the input field. For instance, typing in a ½ inch here means a frame opening of 9 by 20 will yield a door that is 10 by 21 inches. But what if there is no frame piece to overlay on, such as is the case of paired doors? Then this is where the reveal settings will come into play, specifically gap between doors. If we set this total space to an 1/8 inch, then half of this is taken from each adjacent cell to mark the door boundaries. For example, let's say you place a pair of doors inside a 20 by 20 opening. The standard overlay adds ½ inch to the end of both door cells, then 1/16 is taken from the middle of each, meaning the door widths are calculated as 20 divided by 2 plus a ½ inch minus a 1/16 inch will give you 10 and 7/16 inch for the width of each piece. Full inset places the door fronts in line with the face of the frame. Its relevant reveal settings are gap between doors, as we've seen before, and door tolerance. This door tolerance sets the clearance between the front and the frame opening. For example, setting this value to 1/16 inch means a drawer front will be 1/8 inch less in width and height will be relative to the associated opening. Gap between doors will work in a similar manner as seen before. So if we leave this set at 1/8 inch and have a 20 by 20 opening with paired doors, the size of each door will be 20 divided by 2, subtract 1/16 inch from the inset, and 1/16 inch from the middle, which will give you 9 7/8 inch. Custom inset works the same way, except the inset parameter can be customized. If you set the overlay type to Custom Reveal instead, then the calculations reverse by changing the overlays to maintain the set reveals instead of the other way around. This is when most of the reveal settings come into play. Top and bottom reveals are the space left for the reveals at the top and bottom of the cabinet. Horizontal reveals are the spaces between stacked doors or drawer fronts. Finished side and unfinished side reveals are the end reveals left for the two different side types. Vertical reveal is the same as the horizontal, except for vertical space between fronts and non-paired doors, or when there's a mid-stile between them. Gap between doors works in the same way as per usual. I will set all these to maintain an 1/8 inch reveal, or what you may call a full overlay. Let's take a look at the same initial top drawer cabinet with a 20 by 20 bottom opening height and 1½ inch wide frame pieces. The front section reveals the top cell width to be the width of the cabinet, which is 23 inches. The drawer front width is calculated as 23 minus an 1/8 inch from the right and an 1/8 inch from the left should give you 22 3/4 inches. The height is calculated as the cell height of 7 3/4 inch minus the top reveal of an 1/8 inch minus half of the horizontal reveal of 1/8 below, which is 1/16, and then all equaling 7 9/16. The other half of the vertical reveal is assigned to the cell below for the door, with the middle of the reveal matching the middle of the mid-rail. If we have a pair of doors below, then each door's width would be 23, minus the left reveal of 1/8 inch, minus the right reveal of 1/8 inch, minus the gap between doors of 1/8 inch, and all divided by 2, which would equal 11 and 5/16 inches for each of the doors. Let's now look at the frameless cabinet equivalent. Full inset and custom inset use the surrounding case parts, top, sides, and bottom, as the outer inset boundaries, downsizing the fronts with the door tolerance value. Inside elements like shelves, drawer stretchers, and partitions are shifted behind the doors by the inset amount. Inset clearance, due to other bordering fronts, are handled by the horizontal and vertical reveal settings, and the gap between doors for paired doors specifically. We'll set all of these to an 1/8 inch for the upcoming example. Let's leave the outer inset clearance to an 1/8 inch. Look at the top drawer cabinet from before. The drawer front height is derived from the cell height of 7 3/4 inch minus the top thickness of 0.75 minus the top inset clearance of an 1/8 minus half of the bottom horizontal reveal of a 1/16. That gives you 6 13/16. Custom inset does the same except with a custom inset value. Custom reveal kicks the reveal settings into play instead. We will set this to an 1/8 inch all-around reveal as done in framed cabinets, with an 1/8 inch gap between paired doors. So if we view that same top drawer cabinet, the drawer front height will be a cell height of 7 3/4 minus the top reveal of an 1/8 minus half of the horizontal reveal, aka 1/16, and that gives you 7 9/16. Frameless setups will need special attention for diagonal and angled corner front calculations. These doors maintain the same top and bottom behavior, but can interact with the cabinet sides in several ways, mostly depending on the special hinge type assigned. The first type is a full inset setup, which should be selected when you have an overall inset style. Overlay setup is usually used when the corner sides are mitered, allowing the door to go on top. Inside corner placement is a hybrid situation, where the top and bottom of the door are overlaid on the case parts, but the sides are somewhat inset between the sides. An inside corner door side and front gap are specified in the next two settings. Note that for both overlay and inside corner, the assigned hinge can override the set values. This is done when the hinge comes from a manufacturer catalog that requires some specific measurements. This means that if you already know the exact hinge you're using, and it's part of our pre-built library, like Blum's 79B9498, then you do not need to type in the exact values for the corner door side/front gaps or the corner door overlay. The same applies to angled transition cabinets, except an overlay setup is the only available choice. The assigned angled hinge specs will override the set values here as well. Any of these settings can benefit from the construction style overrides. For instance, let's say we have a full overlay setup where the top reveal is kept at 1/8 inch, but the wall cabinet top rail is 2 inches instead of the base's 1.5 inch, to leave 1/2 inch for frame mounted crowns. The default behavior will push the wall doors up to match the 1/8 inch reveal unless we make an override. So we enable the wall cabinet style, go to the door overlay and set it to an 1/8 plus 0.5, and that gives us 5/8 inch. This keeps the same top reveal of an 1/8 inch when the crown is applied. Or maybe for base cabinets in particular, you need a 1/4 inch clearance between the countertops and the fronts. Then you can set this override in the base cabinet style. Note that the construction method only sets the default behavior, which you can override in the wireframe editor at any time. For example, this face frame cabinet is set to full overlay. If we increase the size of the hinge side end stile to 2.5, the overlay is increased to maintain the same effective reveal. This could be outside of the hinge's spec, so we can then go to the door attributes and change its left overlay to 1 inch less to compensate. As you can see, Cab Builder can simplify your process by automatically calculating the door and drawer font sizes of any given cabinet. By inputting your specifications, the software saves you time and effort by taking care of these calculations for you. To view additional video tutorials, please visit www.cabbuildersoftware.com/training.